For though we walk in the flesh, we are not waging war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds. We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God, and take every thought captive to obey Christ. Whose thoughts do you encounter the most? Yeah, he got it. I'm serious. Whose thoughts do you encounter the most? Yours. The main thoughts you think of are yours. So what is this verse telling you? That you are to take every thought captive. That is primarily a command that the thoughts you need to examine the most and catch the most and compare to Scripture the most are your thoughts. Scripture says that one of the primary ways which we are commanded to wage war is we take thoughts, our thoughts, captive to obey Christ. The world will tell you, to thine own self be true and live your truth. We as Christians are told there is objective truth outside of yourself because God has declared it, and you are to submit your own thoughts and your own feelings to His declaration. So I'll just ask, do you have a wartime mentality like this? Do you critically examine your own thoughts and compare them to Scripture? And as we saw last week, Scripture would commend you if you do. Perhaps it would be helpful to walk through what this might look like, because for a lot of people, this is a foreign concept. You've never been told, examine your thoughts. So the scenario is this: you've just woken up. You haven't gone to work or gotten the kids yet. You would like to spend some time in prayer or Scripture. And this thought pops into your head. You can't spend time in prayer or study the Word right now. You don't have time. If you don't spend every second trying to knock things off your to-do list, you won't get done everything that you need to get done today, and it will snowball and be worse tomorrow. First of all, I said this thought pops into your head. Where did it come from? That thought came from the flesh or the enemy, but frequently, if you aren't on guard, you don't realize that. You critically accept it. But if we fight like Jesus fought, we say, it is written, God will provide for my every need according to His riches and glory. It is written, God's strength is made perfect in my weakness. It is written that I am to work today not for the pleasure of men, but to work heartily as if for God. Therefore, the success of today is not found in meeting an arbitrary threshold that I have given myself. It is written that I am not to be anxious about my life, but rather seek first the kingdom and His righteousness, and all these other things will be added to me. And therefore, in light of these truths, you are to conclude my provision is not primarily dependent upon the strength of my arm or the power of my intellect, but in my Father, and so I will trust Him and seek Him first today. And then I will go about the rest of my tasks. And then you do it. Your faith is demonstrated by then how you proceed throughout the day. We see that from James 1. We see that from the book of James, that faith is revealed by the action it informs. But Jonathan, you may ask, what if the anxiety comes back in 10 minutes? Well, then you do all of this again until you see the way of escape. For Scripture says in 1 Corinthians 10:13, God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond your strength, but with the temptation will also provide you a way to endure it. He will give you a way of escape. He promises.